Yep. Let's go! Oh yeah, let's do it! It's a party! If you wanted honesty, probably don't watch Tommy C. I never want to let you down or have you go. It's better off this way for all the dirty looks, the photographs your boyfriend took. Remember when you broke your foot from jumping out the second store? I'm not okay. I'm not okay. Show you that this is not the life it seems. I told you time and time again, you sing the words but still know what it means to be a joke. And look, I throw the line without a hook. I held you close as we both shook for the last time. Take a good hard look. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. Forget about the dirty looks, the photographs your boyfriend took. You said you'd read me like a book, but the page is all war-torn and frayed. I'm not okay. I'm okay. I'm okay now. I'm okay now. But you really need to listen to me, because I'm telling you the truth. I'm okay, trust me. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. No, I'm not okay. I'm not fucking not okay. I'm not okay. That's how you do it, folks. That's how you bring in the juice. That's how you get after it. Welcome to EG Lately Live, everybody. I hope that you guys are enjoying the musical intros, because I've been enjoying them. Why make you guys wait till the end for karaoke? Why not just bring that sucker out right off the bat? This camera is a little off-centered here. It needs to be fixed. It needs to be fixed. I have the power. I can do this. Yeah, I think that's better. Now, I did a cover of that song. It was like a parody song that I did about Jake Weddle. But I kind of left it on members only because I didn't really like the final product. I didn't really like how it turned out, but it was still fun to make it. But that's why I wanted to sing it tonight. I thought it was just super fun to just come in right out the gate, get everybody all hyped up. Like Phallic says, you know, I'm hyped. Let's do it, right? Please, if anyone's not mentally okay, I suggest anyone seek professional help. Those are great words, Reverse Shin. Those are great words. But anyway, everybody, welcome to EG Lately Live. This is, you know, a fun stream. But here's the title card. To be honest, I came in so hot that I totally forgot that I have title cards and stuff that I need to do. But today it's going to be an entire show of hot topics, since there's not like any one thing that I think is like really popping off right now, whether it's drama or culture or pop culture or comic books or movies and stuff. I figure let's just do a whole night of just jumping around and seeing what we can find to talk about. So it's a day of hot topics. But before we get into hot topics, it's time for roll call.
Let's take roll here. Jay Quellen. Where's Jay Quellen at? No Jay Quellen here? Yeah.
Do you mean Jacqueline?
Okay. So that's how it's gonna be.
That's how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be tonight. Blue Jay says, I remember that I tried to sing along until I realized that you were changing the lyrics and I died. Yeah, I honestly was very proud of the lyrics that I did for that song. I thought it was pretty good, but I wasn't happy with the way that the song sounded more than the lyrics. But it was pretty. I thought it was pretty funny, pretty clever. But Daniel's Crew roll call $2. Thank you so much. We've already got 100 messages. I wish I had $100, but I'll live without it. The newest drama from a couple hours ago is Ethan is suing people. Yeah, he's losing it. Ethan Klein is. I think he's crashing out. Tommy C's crashing out. iDubbbz's been crashing out. Everybody's crashing out. Not old EG, though. He's doing fine. He's doing good. Well, the Lilo and Stitch live-action movie isn't great, and the ending is terrible. Well, that's good to know. All right, let's do roll call real quick. We got Kangaloope in the house. We got Timey Wimey, Reverse A Shim, Blue Jay, Daniel's Crew in the house with a $2 super chat saying roll call. Thank you so much, Daniel's Crew. You're the best. I really appreciate it. Carla Stops in the house. Janie Minaj is in the house. Timey Wimey is here. Phallic Weapon also in the house. Carla, stop holding it down on Twitch. Who else? Mr. T's Two Cold Chains. Blue Jay needed headphones to hear it. Sounded almost mono before. I don't know what. Probably because I had it coming through a different thing, if you're talking about my audio. I know this is random, but more raw behind the scenes of Just Dance has leaked online. Are they making a movie? I see Matthew Barron's over there on Twitch too. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. 2 people. We like doubled our Twitch audience because it's usually just Carla Stop hanging out over there. So she likes to hold down. She likes to keep Twitch to herself. It's her private area, but she could share it. She could share it tonight. Who else? Maya Draco Lazovsky. Good to see you. I see everybody saying hi to Gypsy Rose. So Gypsy Rose is in the house as well. At least was in the house. I don't know if these people are still here when I say this, but you showed up to class. You get marked here, right? Jammer's in the house. It says, hey, EG lately. Good to see you, Jammer. Good to see you. Hope you're recovering well. Who else do we got here? I think. Let me just make sure, because before I say anything, because I know that Sarah's always lingering up there and telling me she's lurking. There's Cold as Ice Scam Baiter. Says, yo, bro, yo. Good to see you, Cold as Ice. Good to see you. Oh, no, Sarah. No, Sarah. Okay. So, and there's New Moon Rising sneaking in right before she got marked tardy for the party. Who is that? What did I just see right there? Amy Nicola Shears. Been a minute since I saw you here. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. It's been a minute, but I'm happy to see you in the chat. I hope everybody's doing well on this not particular Thursday. I need to make this chat bigger. I can't even see. I don't even think you guys can really see who's saying what. So we're just going to make it just a bit bigger. I got to fix that and do something with it to make it more readable, but I can't do it midstream. But I have been meaning to change that. I think the font that I had before, the Fortnite font, was a little bit better, but you know. Anyway, so tonight's going to be a night of Hot Topics. If you guys aren't familiar with Hot Topics, it's how we normally start off our show, but we typically do it in a way that is, we typically do it a segment where we just kind of briefly go over all the hottest stuff going on the internet or in the world. So we're going to do a night of that. So if you guys want something covered, I would suggest going into the Discord and throwing it in my inbox, and I'll take a look at it and see if anybody has anything they want to bring up. So let's get ready for Hot Topics.
Let's talk about it. It's time for Hot Topics.
Wake up. Nothing was out of context. I am an Islamist, fundamentalist, radical terrorist. I am.
Hey, he said it, folks. It came out of his mouth. I've been crazy busy and just finished a late night shift. Well, welcome. I hope that the shift was pretty good for you. Blue Jay says maybe add a translucent background to the chat on screen. Yeah, I can do that. So I definitely need to do that. I don't mind the font, but I feel like the font's also too small. So I need to add more. I think I'm just gonna go back to the Fortnite one because it had like the black background shadow that you could see. So we'll mess around with it. We'll figure it out. The one thing about streaming that I always found interesting is that like it's a constant evolution of your skills and how good you are at it, because it's very hard to do because everything's live, right? Everything's live. You could sit here and do this for years and still not master it completely. As I throw my spare glasses on the ground because I wanted to move my VR headset, because it's on the piano and that makes it look bad. Makes it look bad on the screen here. So how's everybody doing? So it's Hot Topics time. I'm not even sure what's going on in the world right now. I think we're pretty much on the brink of World War IV. Yeah, let's just skip a whole World War there. But World War III is like definitely on the brink. And it's apparently what's going on is like between Iran and Israel, but the main reason that it would be... There's Sarah. Good to see you. Hello, I'm late. My nerves are getting to me. Well, I hope that you're not nervous. But I've been there. Not everybody always like, is perfectly perfect all the time, and it's okay to have down. It's okay to have down days. We had a huge storm, a massive storm that rolled through here right before I went live. And I'm pretty sure a tornado came down my street. And I was just hoping to God that it didn't knock out our power. And it didn't. Obviously, I'm live. So dodged a bullet there. So, hopefully everybody who's in the Northeast is safe today, because that's one wicked storm rolling through the Northeast. But, it's all good stuff. So we talked about Fantastic Four and Superman all stream last stream. We had a special guest. Swim came on and helped talk to me about it. So I thought that was pretty cool. So let's just figure out what the top stories in the world are. Let's just get right down to it. Now, the one thing that I will mention about Hot Topics is Hot Topics could be anything. It could be drama. It could be politics, it could be pop culture, but essentially when I do my main events from now on, I'm going to be doing things where I try to think outside of the box. Like I thought it'd be fun to do a stream where we try to rank all of the MCU movies in order from worst to or from best to worst. So I think that would be fun, or go through the timeline and then just throw it up on a tier list or something. I thought that'd be a good time to do, and then get your guys' input too. So, that's something that I want to mess around with. I also want to go through I want to do some Lord of the Rings stuff, just because I'm like really into the Lord of the Rings at the moment right now. It's like I'm listening to the audiobook. As I said before, I'm on the Two Towers now. But the whole first audiobook was awesome. I don't even know who made it, but they put like the music in it, and they put like sound effects of war going on. Like it's the first time I ever listened to an audiobook, and if all audiobooks are like this, I love it. It's awesome. Super, super cool. So been a big fan of that. So I'm really into the Lord of the Rings. I've been trying to learn everything I can about like the mythos of Middle Earth and stuff. So maybe we'll do something with that in the future where we can figure out a way to do that. I also took Little Lately to a movie today. It was an anime called Dan to Dan. Yeah, it's called Dan to Dan. I've never heard of the anime before, but she's like in love with it, and they had like a special screening for season 2, like the first 3 episodes before it comes out on TV. So I took her to go see that. She was just loving it. She was just like taking pictures with the poster and super happy, which makes me happy. As long as she's having a good time and happy, that's all that matters to me. It was her birthday this past week, so I thought it'd be a fun time to just take her to the movies and enjoy. And I'm a big fan of anime, as you guys know. Big One Punch Man fan, and then also big Dragon Ball Z fan, Attack on Titan fan, One Piece. Like, yeah, I'm really into a lot of anime. So Gypsy says, I love the Lord of the Rings. Yes, yes. I thought it'd be fun to maybe do a breakdown of Lord of the Rings versus like the Amazon one and try to figure out why it is that I do not. Stop spreading blatant lies, Carla. Stop blatant lies. I love the Lord of the Rings, and I love anime. Did you buy her Starbucks? Well, she's at her. So she went to right after the movie. I had to take her to her mother's house because she's taking her to the amusement park tomorrow. So I didn't get a chance to hang out with her, but I will get her Starbucks. I promise. I will get her Starbucks when she comes back. I have to wait till she comes back though. Didn't have any time to do it before the movie because we had to drive because since it was like an anime thing, like they didn't have like a full-on movie. So like it's not a movie, it's just like a preview. So it's only plays like you get one showing a day, and then you have to also figure out if you're going to one that's Japanese subtitles or if it's a English overdub. So I don't know why they don't just have English overdubs in America, but apparently some people must really like to go watch the Japanese subtitles. And she was like, well, I found one with Japanese subtitles. I was like, I'm not going and reading subtitles during a movie. I'm sorry. We've come too far as a society to do that. So, but anyway, I guess the first topic that I want to talk about today, this is a real one. So obviously we're on the brink of World War IV. Again, I don't know why I'm so obsessed with saying World War IV. It's not World War IV. But you know, there is some things happening that makes me feel like it's possible that World War III could be happening. So let's make sure that that doesn't happen. Everybody in the administration, yeah, World War IV. We skipped 3. We skipped 3. You know, ain't nobody got time for no 3. We need to let's get right to World War IV. Thank you. I try to be a good dad. I want her to be happy. You know, she's spent her whole life just going back and forth between parents' houses, and I wanted to just make it as a. So I try my best to just make it as a positive experience as I can for her in whatever way I can. So I try to do that. But anyway, this is just a little article I read. You know, I'm not diving into like the crazy stuff. I'm not getting deep into the weeds on this. It's just pretty much sums up where we're at right now in this whole thing. This war is going to be so big that it's 2 wars in one. Yes, we're gonna go World War III right into World War IV. All right, let's hope that nobody gets into any type of war. And I agree, Gypsy. It's all very scary. Right. I'm too old to be drafted at this point, so I don't really feel like that scared. But anybody who I know who is young enough to be drafted, or you know, I think my little brother is probably old enough, still young enough to be drafted. So I'm just hoping to God that it doesn't come to that. You know, Trump says he's the anti-war president, but I guess we'll see. Right. When it comes to Israel, we're pretty protective of Israel. So this article is from MSNBC, not my particularly favorite place, but, you know, I just feel like if they're going to give us some information on the war and they're being, you know, they'll try, that's all I'll say. I don't really trust mainstream media anymore, but, you know, it's the first article I saw talking about this, so we'll take a look at it. It says Trump is relying on small circle of advisors as he weighs in on the Iran war. Or Iran strikes. So what they're talking about is like there's a possibility that he's going to strike at the Iran. They're going to strike, and that would basically be us declaring war. Nobody wants war, Kangaloo. Yeah, I don't think anybody wants war. We already are at war with each other enough in culture. I don't know, but I will say that America was designed to need wars to basically fuel its economy, but people die, and that's not cool. Reuters is good news website. It's pretty neutral. Yeah, I probably would actually rather see. That's a good point. I would rather see Reuters. I'd rather go to Reuters. Let me switch back so I don't accidentally pop up my email like I did last stream, like a schmuck. Like a schmuck. I want neutral coverage. I don't want Fox News. I don't want MSNBC. Here we go. Here's a good one. And we're not going to be showing anything sketchy. We're just talking about what's going on in the world today. And I think it's important that we talk about it. 12 people over on Later or Lately. What's up with that? Thank you guys. I appreciate that. And we almost have the equal amount on Later or Lately as we do in EG Lately Live. So that's pretty awesome. I mean, yeah, I guess it's EG Lately Live now, isn't it? But thank you guys for coming in and watching. It's a night of hot topics. We're going to be talking about all the hottest stuff going on the internet right now. Iran strikes Israeli hospital. Trump to decide on U.S. role in conflict within 2 weeks. So I guess within 2 weeks they're going to decide. Now here's the problem, right? If it was just us entering and we would just be able to smash Iran, probably no problem, right? You don't like the United States is basically God at this point on the planet. Sometimes I go on there and read long articles. Yeah, I like. I always felt like Reuters was pretty good too. I don't know. I just picked the first one that I saw because I came into this pretty unprepared today. Because I had to do all that stuff with Little Lately this morning. But you know, I'm gonna make my way through it. We're gonna figure it out. We'll catch our stride. Iran strikes Israeli hospital. So Donald Trump has kept the world guessing on his plans, veering from proposing a swift diplomatic solution to suggesting the U.S. might join the fighting on Israeli side. Wouldn't be good because look. If we get involved, then Russia will probably get involved and China will get involved. And then that's when it's World War III, right? And then everybody's picking sides. Granted, I do think that the side after World War II, like our allies are way more powerful than China and Russia and whoever else wants to shack up with them. But the point of the matter is, even if the war only lasted like 6 months and we absolutely whooped them, we're still going to watch people die. And that's not okay with me. That's not a good thing. Yeah, a third world. Yeah, it's very scary stuff. It's very realistic. Like the realism of it is pretty nuts. And on top of that, we also have like all the stuff going on with ICE and all the stuff going on over in Cali. So and all over the world, to be honest with you. I saw that. What's that writer's name? I forget what her name is. Taylor Lorenz. Made an article about some Roblox people who were trying to do a protest in Roblox, like got bullied out of it or something like that. So she made a story about it, and everybody was kind of making fun of her. I don't know about that. China's pretty powerful and is on that side of the world. Yeah, I mean, but China hasn't been in the wars that we have. That's why we're still we know. Like China wasn't in World War II. They kind of got slapped out of it pretty early by Japan. Japan just ran over them, and Japan's now our ally. So Japan would join the fight with us. I just think we have overwhelming power on our side. Russia's been having a hard time with just Ukraine alone. So that's why I'm not too worried about it. I think they would be stupid I don't think anybody wants a war right now. I don't think it would be in their best interest to get into a war right now. But Iran is doing some sketchy shit, so they might need to be checked a little bit. Anytime innocent people die, it breaks my heart. Yeah, nobody wants to. I view every life as like incredibly precious, and I want to see people be able to live and die when they're old. I want people to die as old, because of old age, not because of some rich people's war or whatever. So the summary is Israeli says it hits Iran's nuclear and missile facilities again. Revolutionary Guards say missiles target industrial areas in Israel. Trump keeps the world guessing on the U.S.'s role. Iran warns against third party joining the conflict. Of course they do, because they don't want us joining the conflict. But listen, I honestly think that Israel could just probably wipe the floor with that whole area. To be honest, they fought. It's not their first time they've gone to war with all the areas around them. They basically have the same tech that the United States has because we sell it to them, and they make us a lot of money. So that's why we give them all the modern stuff. Like they got F-35s over there. So some of the most sophisticated missile systems that there is. Like Israel could do this by themselves. They don't need our help. But I'm sure Israel would like our help, and they've been a very big ally to us for a very, very long time. So Tel Aviv, Dubai, Washington, June 19th, Reuters. So that's today. Israel bombed nuclear targets in Iran on Thursday, and Iran fired missiles and drones at Israel after hitting an Israeli hospital overnight. So Israel has that big dome, the Iron Dome they call it, where it's like it's not like an actual physical dome like Wakanda has. it's basically a missile defense system where if people try to shoot rockets into Israel, they could get shot down. But occasionally they do sneak in because if you fire as many as you possibly can, it's going to be harder for the intercepting missiles to find them and to knock them out. So if you see like bombing, if you see like missiles striking hospitals overnight in Israel, that's why. As a week-old air war escalated with no sign yet of exit strategy from the other side. So I don't think that Iran has the air capability that Israel has. Trump has approved attack orders using bunker buster bombs, but Trump has yet to give the official green light to go. Yeah, he wants to keep people guessing. He definitely does. Hopefully, he's listening to our generals and stuff. Because, the last thing I want is to see any American soldier or any foreign person lose their life because of a war they didn't want. I'm pretty sure Iran wants the war, though. I'm pretty sure Iran wants the war, and I'm pretty sure Israel's sick of all the stuff that's going on with their country, too, and they want to just, keep their people safe. At the end of the day, you can call it whatever you want, but it's just people on both sides wanting to keep the people that live there safe. When children are killed, I get upset. Also, yeah, you're not alone with that, Daniel's crew. I think that most people look at this stuff as just absolutely heartbreaking, and you don't want to ever see it. Hopefully it's done correctly, though, through an act of Congress. Yeah, I don't want to see Trump going rogue here when it comes to this stuff, but I don't think Trump personally wants World War III. He's already said that he wants to be the peace president and not a war president. I mean, that would be crazy, though, if Trump were and everybody should not want this either, because the only people who I think would honestly really want this would probably be the Israelis, so that they have like a reason for us to come in and just really really just kind of take over for them and keep them safe. But the White House said U.S. President Donald Trump will make a decision within the next 2 weeks whether to get involved on Israel's side. I don't think he's going to, personally. If I had to guess, I'm just gonna say I don't think he wants to be a war president. But then again, he is Donald Trump, so he might just think to himself, "What's up, Mystic? I haven't seen you in a while. Hope you're doing well." But I hope that Donald Trump is just like, you know what? I don't want to get involved in a war. But, I haven't been in a war yet. It might be fun to be president of a war. I don't know. That's just the way Donald Trump thinks. That might not be a firm deadline, as Trump has commonly used 2 weeks as a time frame for making decisions. Meanwhile, Trump Special Envoy Steve Witkoff of the Iranian Foreign Minister Arabs Iraqi have spoken by phone several times the last week, sources say. Israel has been hitting Iran from the air since last Friday in what it describes as an effort to prevent Tehran from developing nuclear weapons. Yeah, and that's another thing, too. We don't want countries developing nuclear weapons. To be honest, I think that we'd all be better off if just everybody got rid of their nukes, right? And then you'd only have like one stash that is run by the UN that is there in case like a meteor comes and we need to blow it out of the sky or something like that. Other than that, there's really no use for nukes. I don't know why we have nuclear weapons anymore. We all know what it'll do. It'll kill everybody. If we shoot a nuclear weapon and then somebody shoots a nuclear weapon back in retaliation, we're all done. Like, you might as well just kiss nobody lives through that war. So I think that everybody should just get rid of them, personally. He was the No New Wars campaigner. I know, right? So if he goes to war, that's going to be a big problem. I think that Republicans don't want to go to war, neither do Democrats. It just makes no sense to want to start a war right now. Israelis more than capable of handling their own. Just if you're not sure, go look at the 6-Day War, where Israel just wiped the floor with all the Arab nations around them because they were just so much further along in military technology. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that Tehran's tyrants would pay the full price for a strike that damaged the Soroka Medical Center in Israel's southern city of Beersheba. Are we targeting the downfall of the regime that may result? But it's up to the Iranian people to rise for their freedom. Now, that's another problem, too, is like, does Iran even want a change in leadership, or are they happy with what they have? I personally would not be if I was there, but a lot of people don't look at the United States as like a favorable thing. They look at the United States as like evil, and unless you live here and see, and to be honest, if you visited the United States from Iran and saw how people treated you on the road, cutting you off and driving like jackasses, yeah, I can understand why you might think that. It's the same in the UK. Prime Minister Starmer wanted the British citizens to go to war, but 90% of the British populations refused. Yeah, no populations want to go to war. But a lot of times, this is what they do. Like, there'll be a black flag event, right? Where, or a false flag event where something will happen in your hometown that's going to make everybody's opinion change from not going to war to being really pissed off that they want to go to war. 9/11 is a good example of that. I don't think that 9/11 was a false flag event, though, personally. But, you know, look at how Americans were before 9/11 happened and then how they were after 9/11 happened. Before 9/11 happened, nobody wanted to go to war. Everybody was fine singing Kumbaya. After 9/11 happened, people wanted heads to roll. So don't be surprised if you see something like that come down the pipe where, you know, America is attacked. Hopefully nobody gets hurt in it. But I'm just saying, like, that's one way to fix that bad polling numbers for going to war. Israeli military spokesman Brigadier General Efi Defrin accused Iran of deliberately targeting civilians in the hospital attack by using a missile that scattered smaller bombs over a wide area. It was the first reported use of cluster munitions in the 7-day-old war. So that's how. Okay, so that's how then the bomb got through. So, like I said, Israel has that Iron Dome where if they shoot a rocket, the rocket gets shot out of the air, so that, you know, minimal damage to whatever it was its intended target. But this seems like a rocket that, before it gets intercepted, it like spits out a bunch of other bombs that go all over the place. So they're trying to do whatever they can to just, I guess, hurt Israel. That is state-sponsored terror and blatant violation of the international law, Defrin told the press briefing. Iran's Revolutionary Guard said that they had targeted Israeli military and intelligence headquarters near the hospital after Israeli military official denied there were military targets nearby. Israel attacked the Special Forces headquarters on the internal security apparatus in Tehran in the last 24 hours, Defrin said earlier. Defense Minister Israel Katz said the military had been instructed to intensify strikes on strategic related targets in Tehran in order to eliminate the threat to Israel and destabilize the rule of the supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. As darkness fell on Thursday evening, Iranian media reported that air defenses were engaged hostile targets in the northern Tehran. Israel airstrikes aim to do more than destroy Iran's nuclear centrifuges and missile capabilities. They seek to shatter the foundation of Khamenei's government and leave it near collapse, Israeli, Western, and regional officials said. Netanyahu wants Iran weakened enough to be forced to fundamental concessions on permanently abandoning its nuclear enrichment, its ballistic program. See, I can understand why Israel wants nukes gone from Iran so bad, because that's pretty much the only target that I think that Iran could shoot at is Israel. What would be the best way to get at America if you're Iran? Hit Israel, who's like somebody who's a very close ally of us. Its ballistic missile program and its support for militant groups across the region, sources said. In an apparent reference to the U.S., Iran's Supreme National Security Council said that it would use a different strategy if a third party joined the Israeli war. Let me just scroll through here because this is a pretty long article. It's a good article though, but so this one says, stay away from our country. Israel, which has the most advanced military in the Middle East, has been fighting on several fronts since October 7th. Attack on the Palestinian group from Hamas triggered a Gaza war. It has severely weakened Iran's regional allies, Hamas in Gaza and Lebanon's Hezbollah, and a bombed Yemen's Houthis. The extent of the damage inside Iran has become more difficult to assess in recent days. Iran has stopped giving updates on the death toll, and the state media has ceased showing widespread images of destruction. The internet has been also completely shut down, and the public has been banned from filming. See, that's not really a place that I think I'd ever want to live, right? You don't want to live in a place where you can't have internet and your government's literally saying you cannot film in here. Do not tell anybody. Do not show anybody how much damage we're actually taking from Israel. That's crazy to me. I saw at least 3 dead children and 2 women in that building. Is this now Netanyahu's plans to liberate Iranians? Stay away from our country, he told Reuters by telephone. So I guess Netanyahu believes that he's going to somehow liberate Iran, but I don't know how that's going to work. But essentially, this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying that we're on the brink of World War III. Now everybody's caught up, and you understand who the players are. The players are obviously China, Russia, us, Europe. But obviously, if you fight with England or anybody in the UK, you fight with America. And if you fight with America, then you fight with anybody in the UK. It's just kind of how we are. We're tied at the hip at this point. So we love our neighbors across the sea. We've been through a lot together, and we've always had each other's backs because we all believe in the same ideas, right? When you think back to the Revolutionary War, right, and we were at war with England, and then you think about like where we are today, culture really is the main driving point between a lot of these wars. It's the way that they think compared to the way that we like to live, and that's what drives a lot of these wars. Now, I will say that like I feel like that a lot of people have kind of labeled me an alt-right guy because of because I don't back or fully support a lot of the leftist agendas that are out there. But I understand why they're upset about ICE. But I do think that it's important that they just realize that and there have been reports of people saying that people are being deported who are here legally. I don't know how you'd prove that, but if that's the case, that's bullshit. If someone's allowed to be here, they should not be being deported. Obviously, that's absolute bullshit. But I haven't seen anything yet that says that. America is like our big brother. Yeah, we're actually kind of more like your little brother, Mystic, because you were here first, right? You guys had the whole medieval times when nobody even knew America was a thing back then, and like we're only about how old is.
Oh, would you look at that?
Oh,
Someone's
snap.
guilty of being a total badass. Chick Dugs approves this message.
The Daniels Crew super chatted $2. God bless the USA.
Thank you, Daniel's Crew, and God bless you too. Yeah, we love this country. How old is America? The question of how old is America can be interpreted in several ways, leading to different answers depending on what you consider the birth of America to be. The most common answer is based on the Declaration of Independence. As of today, June 19th, 2025, the United States is only 249 years old. This is calculated from July 4th, 1776. 249 years. I know that might seem like a lot, but if you think about it, right, the average person could probably live, most people think they're going to live to 100, right? Reality, most of us are probably going to die in our 80s and our 90s if we're not tragically taken from before that, right? All I want to see is correct process in terms of deportation. Same. I think that's all anybody wants too, Gypsy, is like be here legally, be deported legally as well. It's a slippery slope, and both sides should be following the same rules. If we're going to give shit to people who are here because they don't have papers or they're here illegally, then we need to deport them legally as well, because then that just makes us hypocrites. I used to work for a community health center that mainly saw migrants. Yeah, and if you think about it, right, like during that time, like Ellis Island, when Ellis Island was a thing, most of our ancestors, I know mine all came here probably through the Ellis Island times, where there was a mass migration to the United States. That's what led to that movie Gangs in New York, right? So, and people were pissed about all the migrants coming here then, too. But look how amazing that's made our country. Without Ellis Island and the mass immigration, the United States probably wouldn't have the advances that it has today. And people need jobs. People need population. So having more migrants here is a good thing for the United States because we have a higher population, right? We have more people to do more jobs. But at the same time, there needs to be a vetting process. So we're not just letting like psycho killers in, which is going to, funny enough, we're going to be talking about a psycho killer in our next hot topic. But we didn't get to that part yet. But yeah, you know, if you think about Ellis Island, people were coming here without papers and stuff. They just show up. They get, you know, them people working here were just changing your name. So you know, it is what it is. But I'm pretty sure that my ancestors came from on my dad's side they came from England, and on my mom's side they came from Ireland. So my heritage is mainly Irish and English. They only work in North Carolina for the summer and went home to Mexico after the season is over. Yeah, I mean, because you want to they got to come up here, right, make money for their family, and they go back to Mexico. The one thing I don't get, though, is the people who are waving Mexican flags here, right? Like, what's that? If you're so proud of there, then, you know, I don't know why you're here. If you're, like, it just, I don't know, the hypocrisy of coming to the United States and then waving the Mexican flag, it just, I don't know. I don't know what that means. Because if I went to another country and started waving the American flag, I don't know. Unless we were at war with them or something, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And it's Mexico's our neighbor too. They should be a lot richer than they are, though. I will say that Mexico should be a lot more rich than they are since they live right next to us. Like, they should be more like Canada. Mexico should be more like Canada and have like the infrastructure that Canada has. But I think the problem is that a lot of the officials down in Mexico are corrupt, and then you got, of course, the cartels, which are bringing drugs into here. So, and if anybody tries to stop them, the cartel is just going to wipe them out. So, you know, I can understand why it's a lot harder to try to make changes. But, you know, at some point in America, we made the decision to defend and make this country the way we see it. So sometimes nowadays it's a lot harder to do because of the way the weapons are. But my family came to PA back in the 1700s. Damn, timey-wimey. Over here since the Mayflower. The Mayflower. The wine flower. Maya says, I am 1/4 French on my dad's side and Irish and Native American on my mom's side. I think it's fun finding out. Because, like, nobody... At the end of the day, a lot of us are just Americans, right? Except for, like, Mystic or people who are watching from other countries. But, you know, it's fun to because everybody knows that they've came from somewhere, and it's a mixed flag. It's a mixed message, you know what I'm saying? Why do people fly the Confederate flag, says Riley T. I think for a while, if I try to break this down into a realistic response, one, the Dukes of Hazzard was a popular thing in the 80s, and they had the Confederate flag on the top of the General Lee. I do think it's a hillbilly culture type thing, but I also think that if I were to try to put myself in their shoes, obviously it means, you know, like for us up north, it appears the Confederate flag is one of their flags. So Confederate flag is one of their flags. So I think that they fly it because, you know, they are either incredibly proud of the South or they are racist. It's hard to, but it's not. But at the same time, I think that it's important to not like throw away people like Robert E. Lee or take down statues of people like that because they are American icons, right? And they were a great general. So they might have been fighting for the wrong side, but I don't think that you could just throw away American history like that. So, and people down south still, you know, they might not respect the ideas, but they could respect what the guy did. But that's why I think that people do the Confederate flag. So anyway, so that's what's going on there. I'm in Tennessee, and most people now view it as a traitor's flag, and if you fly it, it's still considered racist. Yeah, and I think that changed probably around 2016, 2015. It became a big deal, and people started realizing just kind of how fucked up it was. Remember the movie The Dukes of Hazzard, right? When Johnny Knoxville and I forget who played Sean William Scott, I think it was, who played Bo and Luke Duke. Well, they had the Confederate flag on the top of the General Lee, and then they go into Atlanta, and then all the people are looking at their car, and it's like the brothers looking at them, just looking like they're gonna kill them, and it makes sense. Like, you know, it's back then in the '80s though. I want to add that this is a big deal too. Why I think the Confederate flag changed is with the invention of the internet. A lot of people are a lot more in the know now than they were when it was the 80s and the 90s. Even when you had AOL dial-up, you still couldn't get information as readily available as you can today. So I think that the more that people kind of realized what that flag represented and became more educated on what that flag represented, it made more sense to people why you want to get rid of it. I always thought the Confederate flag looked cool. Like, it's a cool design, but the ideas that it represents are not conducive with the moves forward that we want to do as Americans. Slavery was never a good thing. We don't need slavery. I think that we've proved that if even though like America probably got its start built on the backs of slaves, you can see that we all can make plenty of money and be successful if we all just work together and take care of our economy that way. So, yeah, that's my take on that. Good question, though, the Confederate flag question. That one had me really digging deep. "2015 after Dylan Roof shot you." Probably, yeah. Sometimes it takes incidents like that for people's eyes to open, for sure. But there's another top story that I want to talk about. Who's the guy? Okay, so this is what I want to talk about next. This is gonna be making Sarah happy. Thank you, Riley. Riley says, "Good take, like the nuance." Yeah, I try to like first. What I do when I go into that situation is I think about why would someone think it's okay to fly that, right? And then I try to go from there. If they're not, because it's easy to chalk it up and say, "Oh, well, they're just racist." But I think it's a little more complicated than that, because I think there's probably a lot of people who, like, I personally think the General Lee's an awesome car, but I don't like the Confederate flag on top. Like, they should just change it to an American flag now at this point. Now, anyway, the next hot topic that I want to talk about is the story that's going on right now with the guy who killed those 4 people in college. He's going to trial now, and he's been kind of delaying it. So there, I think this is when it happened. So 4 slain students, weeks-long manhunt, but no motive. Everything we know about the Idaho murder. So this is the Idaho. So this guy's going on trial now. This was a big deal when it happened, because he killed 4 people in the middle of the night and then left one. Like, he didn't kill everybody in the house, and the person saw him and he walked right by them. But this story is like horrifying. So first, I'll tell you guys, for anybody who's not familiar with the story, I'll tell you a little bit about the actual story, and then I'll tell you why we're talking about it, because right now this guy's about to finally go on trial for this. So it says 4 slain. So this is from 2024. So I think this is about the story itself. So I'll just read this to you guys real quick. How long is this? Oh, that's pretty long. But a little bit of true crime today. A little bit of true crime. I'm gonna have to take a hit of my vape before I start this one now. This one's gonna be rough, guys. This one's hard. All right. The murder of 4 college students rocked the quiet town of Moscow, Idaho, and led to the arrest of prime suspect Brian Koberger. Kaylee Conclaves, Madison Mogen, Zana Kernodle, and Ethan Champion, all students at the University of Idaho, were ambushed in their rooms and stabbed to death with a military-style knife that has yet to be found. Police were called to the gruesome scene at the off-campus residence about 8 hours after the vicious attack. For weeks, only scant details about the carnage were revealed as the community reeled from the tragedy and grappled with fears of a murder on the loose. That changed when, in December 2022, arrest of Washington State University student Mr. Koberger was Oh, excuse me. Whose apartment? Yeah, I think he did it too, Sarah. I think it's no doubt this idiot did it. He's a fucking monster. But this is a very complex story because this guy was like studying to become a criminal, criminal lawyer, I think, or something like that. That changed when December 2022 arrest of Washington State University Mr. Koberger, whose apartment, office, and family home were raided and searched for evidence. While more information has become public through the release of such warrants and arrest records in recent months, a gag order in the case remains in place, and most aspects of the probe and its findings are still a mystery. A grand jury indicted Mr. Koberger on 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 burglary charge, effectively rerouting the case directly to the state's felony court level and allowing prosecutors to skip the preliminary hearing process. A trial was initially set for October 2023. Listen to how long this guy's been delaying this, right? This was supposed to go on trial in October of 2023. It is now June 2025, and this happened in 2022. So this guy's been able to make this last and keep postponing it for 3 years, which is crazy to me that he's been able to figure out a way to keep that going. A grand jury indicted Mr. Koberger on 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 burglary charge, effectively rerouting the case directly to state's felony court. A trial was initially set for October, but he waived his right to a speedy trial. Then in late December 2023, prosecutors submitted a request for a high-profile murder trial to begin in the summer of 2024. On 28th February 2024, a hearing is set to take place where the trial date could finally be set. Here, the Independent takes a deep dive into developments in how the complex case. How did the stabbings unfold? So, Kaylee Gonclaves, Madison Mogan, Zana Kernodle. Sorry, I'm probably butchering these names. And Ethan Chapin were stabbed to death in the young woman's rental home on King Road, Moscow, on the 13th of November 2022. Chapin, Kernodle's boyfriend, was staying at the residence, which is just a few minutes walk from campus, on the night of the murders. That's crazy, right? Like, this is how close they were to the actual school. This is like the shit that they make horror movies out of, right? This guy just walked into this place where these there was 5 college students there, but he for some reason didn't kill one of them and just walked right past them. But this all happened like super, super fast. So he must have went in there and just tried to stab as fast as he can. I'm not sure if he has any connection to these people, but he must have been stalking the house for a while. According to the affidavit, Mr. Koberger's arrest, the killings are believed to have taken place around 4 a.m. That is probably the worst time to have someone come after you, because 4 a.m. is like that dead time where that's when my alarm goes off for work, so I'd probably be fine. But most people are sleeping until probably 6 o'clock in the morning. Among the revelations in the 18-page document is that Mr. Koberger's DNA was found on the knife sheath that the killer left behind at the crime scene. Dead to rights right there. Done. Got him. The tan leather kabar sheath, which featured the United States Marine Corps symbol, which I don't believe that guy was a Marine, and discovered on Mogan's bed next to her butchered body. At the time, the quadruple homicide, the 2 other roommates, Bethany Funky and Dylan Mortensen, were inside the home but were left unharmed. See, okay, so there was actually 6 people there. So Bethany, imagine being that girl who was there when your friends all got murdered while you were, a room over. It's so insane, dude. This story is just so crazy. And then look, this is the people who were killed. All very, good-looking kids. They all had the future just snuffed away from them. So terrible. It's just, it's absolutely tragic. The police report reveals that Miss Mortensen came face-to-face with the masked killer. And she pointed out that the guy had, like, really bushy eyebrows. So if you go back up and you look at him, I mean, look at this guy. This looks like Dennis from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, doesn't he? Like this guy looks like a monster. And look at his big bushy eyebrows. That is the face of a guy that is just haunting. Absolutely haunting. But according to Miss Mortensen's terrifying account, she had gone to sleep in her bedroom on the second floor of the third floor home and was woken by the sound like Goncalves playing with her dog in one of the third floor bedrooms. She told investigators she was in her room on the second floor of the home and the same floor where Kernodle and Chapin were killed, and was standing in the doorway as the killer walked right past her a short time later. Miss Mortensen said that she heard someone believed to be either Goncalves or Kernodle saying, "There's someone here. There's someone here." What I don't understand is how did this guy not like put up a fight? Because if you were to stack him up, this guy's like nothing, and this guy looks like he would be able to at least put up a fight. So he had to be drunk, passed out, or something for him to get killed like that. I'm not getting taken out with no knife without putting up a serious fight. But I'm also 6 foot tall, like 230, so I can throw my weight around a little bit. I don't know how big that guy was, but he looks pretty tall in this picture here, right? He's almost as tall as her with on his shoulders. So this guy had to have this guy had to be like shot, taken out first. But yeah, he does look like he looks like Dennis from the Dennis System. She told investigators she was in her bedroom on the second floor of the home, the floor where Kernodle and Chapin were killed, and was standing in the doorway as the killer walked right past her. A short time later, Miss Mortensen said that she heard someone believed to be either Goncalves or Kernodle saying, "There's someone here." Minutes later, Miss Mortensen said that she looked out her bedroom for the first time and did not see anything. Then she opened the door for the second time when she heard that what she thought was crying coming from Kernodle's room, the document states. At that point, she said she heard a man's voice saying, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." Dude, this guy's monstrous. This guy's absolutely monstrous. Yeah, he's got no muscle mass. It's amazing to me how he was able to take on that full. But again, that's why I think that they had to be drunk. Like, these kids had to be really drunk to not be able to put up any type of fight, because 4-on-1, they should have been easily, and he only has a knife, they should have easily been able to take him. That's what I think makes this story so interesting. This is the house, though, that it happened at. From what I understand about this house is that they... I'll make it a little bigger for you. From what I understand about this house is that people always came and went from this house and, having parties. It was like the party house or whatever. So, this guy must have known that and kind of just turned it into his own, a perfect place to be able to come and go from without being seen. When she opened the door for the third time, minutes later, she said she saw a figure clad in black clothing and a mask that covered the person's mouth and nose walking towards her. As she stood in a frozen shock phase, she said the man, who she did not recognize, walked past her and headed toward the back sliding glass door of the home. She then locked herself in her room. So this guy's walking at her, and she's just there with like a blank face. Like, she's just like, what would you do in that situation? It's crazy. So she must have had to get into that room, because you would think, I wonder what made him pass her, but not, because he killed everybody else. Why would he? Why did he not kill her? Is what I'm really interested in finding out. I want to hear her testify more than anybody, I think. Despite the close encounter, a 911 call wasn't made until 11:58 a.m., 8 hours later. The call, made from one of the surviving roommate's cell phones, reported an unconscious individual, and an unclear if the killer saw her or whether she simply had a lucky escape because he didn't notice her inside the dark home. Yeah, I feel like he probably would have killed her had he... Maybe he didn't see her. But at that point, he was probably like really freaking out. As a woman, you need to do everything in your power to become physically strong and defend yourself against men. Yep, absolutely. I did a demonstration with my daughter one time where I was like,
what would you do if someone came up and grabbed you? And she goes, I'd fight them. And I was like, you think you could kick a guy's butt? And she's like, yeah. I was like, do you know how fast they could grab you and run away? And she was like, yeah. I'm like, are you sure? So when she was like 5 minutes later, I came back and snuck up on her and this was when she was like 5 years old. So I was trying to give her the whole don't talk to strangers talk, you know? So I ran up behind her, grabbed her, and ran off with her super fast. And she didn't even know what happened. And I said, see? Do you see how fast that could happen to you? You didn't fight me off. You didn't even know if it was me or not at first because I snuck up behind her so she didn't know it was me purposely. And I think that was a wake-up call to her big time that, you know, she should probably be a lot more careful about herself. But, I mean, that's the stuff you got to teach your kids because I can't imagine a worse situation being your kid being kidnapped or something like that. This raises questions around whether or not he planned to kill all 4 victims or whether some of the victims were treated as collateral damage in the horrific attack. Goncalves and Mogan's bodies were found in the bedroom on the 3rd floor while Kernodle and Champion were found on the 2nd floor of the home. So this guy went from 2 different floors just stabbing the crap out of people. How gross, dude. The affidavit reveals no details about what connection, if any, Mr. Koberger had to his alleged victims. Yeah, it makes you wonder if maybe he saw them or was stalking them on Facebook, maybe, possibly, because this guy, I think, went to another college around them, but he was, like, older and a grad student or something. Mr. Koberger is a criminal justice PhD student at Washington State University, lived just 15 minutes around from the victims of Idaho-Washington border in Pullman, having moved there to begin the academic program in August. So these are the victims, the beautiful girls. I hate when people kill beautiful women. It just makes me extra angry for some reason. I've been gone for a few minutes, but we'll get caught up. Discussed it in the story. It's ridiculous. He's evil. Yeah, absolutely, Daniel's crew. Women, you need to be lifting. Yeah. Listen, you don't have to be able to beat the guy in the fight. You just have to be able to resist long enough that he gives up. Because the minute that the assault begins, the clock's ticking for the guy. He needs to get you and get away. So if you put up no fight at all, chances are, you know, that's when you're going to end up dead or in a kidnap situation. Fight, fight, fight. Listen, he's probably going to kill you either way. So fight. And at least if you're going to be killed, go down swinging and defending yourself. But I don't think these girls even knew what was going on here, to be honest. They were drunk, and I can only assume they were drunk, and that's why they had a hard time fighting. Kernodle and Chapin were juniors at the college and begun dating months before their deaths. The couple of 20-year-olds is believed to have been awake at the time the stabbings were carried out. 6 months after the stabbings, the families of the slain students accepted posthumous awards for their achievements. 6 months after the stabbings, the families of the slain student accepted posthumous awards for their... I don't know what the awards were about, but Mogan and Goncalves relatives walked across the stage for their degrees. So I guess they gave them honorary graduation degrees. That's nice of the school, though. Kernodle's family attempted her certificate in marketing at a private ceremony last week, with Chapin's awards in sports, recreation, and management will be mailed to his parents this week. So this is the couple that were killed. So it was these 2 girls here that were killed, and this girl and her boyfriend. This guy's pretty... I mean, this is what I don't get, is this guy is big. Like, he should have been able to fight. It just... The whole story just is so... I think that's why it's so insane to me, right? No, from the trial documents, he was lurking around watching another young girl, and ended up in that house. He was hiding in the house. Is that true? At the time of the murders, Mr. Koberger was studying for his PhD and working as a teaching assistant in criminal justice at Washington State University. Prior to this, Mr. Koberger studied criminology at DeSales University, first as an undergraduate and then finishing his graduate studies in June 2022. According to online records, Mr. Koberger received an associate arts degree in 2018 from Northampton Community College in Albright and received a master's degree in criminal justice this year from DeSales. Yeah, so it seems like this guy was like trying to live out his fantasies of being a serial killer or something. So what the unsealed documents revealed, after weeks of no updates on the investigation, law enforcement in Idaho and Pennsylvania announced Mr. Koberger's arrest on 30th December 2022. A search warrant was executed at Mr. Koberger's apartment in Pullman, Washington. The day he was arrested at his parents' home in Pennsylvania, a record of evidence recovered during the apartment search revealed the seizure of 15 items, including hair, receipts, a computer tower, a disposable glove, and items with peculiar stains. In the search warrant record, investigators list several items with stains, including cuttings of mattress covers and reddish-brown stain on an uncovered pillow, and a collection of dark red spot. Dr. Monty Miller, a former crime scene investigator, forensic expert for the former FBI agent Jennifer Kofendaffer, told the Independent back in January that investigators most likely believe those items had blood stains. This guy, let's be real though, this guy fucking did it. He's guilty as shit. He's guilty as hell. Look at this guy. He looks like a fucking creep. Dude, what a total psychopath. But anyway, the whole reason I even brought him up was because there's something going on with his case right now where he's like keeps stalling. Oh my God, what's this? City killer asteroid on collision course with the moon. Okay, well, we're gonna save that one, because I'm interested in that. No, that was October. Trying to find the information now. Here we go, 11 days ago. Koberger's team wants 5 witnesses from the accused killer's life in Pennsylvania to take the stand at high-stakes quadruple murder case. So what? I guess they want someone to come and like testify on behalf of this guy. I would not want anything to do with this guy. Like, he just looks like a fucking gremlin, dude. He also could have been one of them incels too that never got any kind of like action from women and just ended up hating women. And then this guy was he wanted to come and kill the girls, but he ended up just, you know, the guy was like there, so he killed him too. Incels are people who think that all women are evil and shouldn't be in this world. Yeah, they're pretty messed up. Yeah, same thinking. I'm lurking, cooking dinner, stuffed peppers, and porcupine balls. Porcupine balls? Like they're testes? But I told you I'd give you a little bit of true crime, Sarah. 5 people from accused killer Brian Koberger's life in Pennsylvania have been called to the defense witness for his upcoming murder trial in the fatal 2022 stabbings of 4 University of Idaho students. Jesse Harris, who owns a boxing gym Koberger used to train at, is one of the 5 people being summoned. Okay, so this guy was training to be a fighter, so that makes a little more sense. Or at least he trained in fighting. So that makes a little more sense why he might have been able to take out the guy. Ann Parhan, one of Koberger's former academic advisors, is also being called as a witness, according to the court filings. And then Ralph Vecchio, who worked at the auto shop Koberger frequented, also has been named as a potential witness, along with Maggie Sanders and Brian Androiola, according to the filings. The 5 prospective witnesses have been instructed to attend the June 30th court hearing. So we're finally getting back to it. It's in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. During the hearing, each of the witnesses will have a chance to explain why they should not be compelled to testify in and out of state proceedings. Okay, so it sounds like they don't want to testify. But the 4 that were murdered are these 4 right here. Not the 2 on the ends. I don't think they could be one of the girls though that were there and just didn't get killed. And he also entered a not guilty plea too. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Guy's a total freaking jackass, and I hope bad things happen for him. Like that's just pure evil in my opinion. Pure absolute evil to be able to kill someone like that in cold blood. But yeah, I think that's probably where we'll, it's going to be a short stream tonight. I don't really have a whole lot else to talk about, to be honest with you. He's guilty. That's pretty much what it comes down to. He's guilty. So, but I thought it'd be fun to come on here anyway and just kind of give you guys a heads up, do a little song and dance for you guys. I'm surprised he's not pleading insanity. Yeah, I think so too. Probably would be smarter, but he also probably one of them idiots who thinks he's smarter than everybody else. So, but yeah, short stream tonight, guys. Sorry about the short stream. I might pick up one over the weekend, but I got a lot of stuff to do. I'm working on a new video. So you know how it goes. You gotta make time how you can. I hope everybody happy Juneteenth, by the way, to any of the brothers and sisters in the audience. And yeah, I love Juneteenth. I get a day off. So, but anyway, guys, much love to you all, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.
Well, would you look at that? Someone's guilty of being a total badass. Chick Dugs approves this message.
The Daniels Crew super chatted $5. Happy June 19th.